To discuss all things then last night and really the reaction today, Reid Wilson joins us now, national correspondent at The Hill. He joins us from CBS News' Washington bureau. And Reid, I know you just heard it there. I want to ask you, in fact, about a moment that we didn't play. Hillary Clinton, looking happy, was walking away from her assembled press corps there on the plane when somebody asked what to make of Donald Trump's explanation that the sniffling that was picked up on his microphone last night was due to a faulty microphone. And she returned to the press corps to say anyone who complains about the microphone isn't having a good night. It seemed for all the world like something of a victory lap.
Yeah, and I think Hillary Clinton deserves a victory lap this morning. She presented herself as prepared and well versed on the issues. Donald Trump seemed to wing it a lot. Hillary Clinton isn't the best at delivering those one-line zingers. I thought a couple of her lines fell flat in last night's debate, but the line this morning and the line last night about if you can be rattled by a tweet, you don't deserve to be president of the United States, I thought those landed pretty well, and they were key to her core effort to really try to paint Donald Trump as somebody who is not ready to be president of the United States.
And for all the talk of how much policy we might see out of both candidates last night, it also seemed that preparation paid off, at least for Hillary Clinton, with regard to the opportunities that she created for herself and really didn't let go by. The same is not being said of Donald Trump last night. And again, Donald Trump had worn his lack of preparation as a badge of honor. Is it fair to say, this, as the night wore on, perhaps, that strategy backfired?
I think it did. And by the way, let's also remember that this is Donald Trump's first time on stage in a head-to-head matchup. All of the primary debates that he did, he had 3 or 4 or 9 other people on stage, so he could sort of take a break and pick his spots and decide when to engage in the conversation. This time he's got to respond to absolutely everything, every question that Lester Holt threw at him, every attack that Hillary Clinton threw at him, and I thought she did a pretty good job of getting under his skin on things like the loan that his father gave him, the taxes. He basically admitted on stage that he hadn't paid federal taxes for X number of years, on any number of other issues, on a lawsuit that the DOJ brought against one of his companies over racial discrimination. I mean, Clinton got under his skin a lot. She was throwing just jab after jab after jab, and he was really on defense the entire time. I don't think we've seen that Donald Trump on defense for as sustained a period as we did last night. Let's also remember, by the way, I think this is really telling about Hillary Clinton's preparation and strategy. Donald Trump spoke for 60% of the debate, Hillary Clinton for about 38% of the debate, according to the timing that everybody was keeping. And that struck me as sort of like a quarterback who stays in the pocket and waits for a play to develop rather than trying to scramble. Hillary Clinton just let Donald Trump talk, and at times that really helped her.
Yeah, it certainly seemed to hold the ball, and there was a moment again where he tried to offer a transactional a transaction of a sort. I will release my taxes if you'll release your deleted emails, that got bogged down, if you read back through the transcript, with regard to further explanations of various business dealings of his. So if he then perhaps missed an opportunity to grow his base, how did she do? She was really able to, other than offering a few very short sentences with regard to the email scandal, apologizing for it, she was left to not need to wade any further into it. She did not have to defend the Clinton Foundation's dealings. Perhaps, how did she do? Was that enough for her? And did she do what President Obama and others had suggested she needed to do, which was connect and perhaps humanize herself?
Boy, she actually talked up President Obama last night, which is something that we haven't seen in a while. Somebody actually embracing the president who has preceded them from their own party. Look, in this era of polarized politics, with two candidates who are deeply unfavorable among a large percentage of the population, I think it's fair to say that the person we're talking about on Election Day is the person who's going to lose. The two candidates are going to try to essentially focus the attention, make the other candidate as unpalatable as possible. Take a look at what happened last night. Donald Trump was defending himself, talking about his business, talking about his tax breaks, and his ability to manage debt. Hillary Clinton was talking about Donald Trump's business and Donald Trump's tax breaks and Donald Trump's debt. Everything was focused on Trump. And by the way, take a look at the coverage this morning. You know, a debate isn't just a 90-minute news event. It's an event that carries the day before, it carries the day after. We're going to be talking about this for essentially until the next debate, the vice presidential debate on October 4th. We're talking about Donald Trump today, which essentially means that in shifting the attention to Donald Trump, Hillary Clinton has succeeded even more.
In speaking with our Major Garrett earlier today, who has attended over 50 of his events on the trail this year, he pointed out that there was not much offered from the candidate that hadn't been a part of a stump speech prior. And while that may be an explanation for what we did hear, what we didn't hear last night were some of the cornerstones of his campaign. We did not hear anything about the border wall. We did not hear anything about the Muslim ban. We did not hear anything about his call to ban Syrian refugees. Where were those?
Well, the foreign policy stuff sort of got buried in the end of the debate. It struck me as interesting that Donald Trump was talking about Hillary Clinton's stamina, and yet towards the end of the debate, it was clear that one candidate was fading and the other candidate was not fading as much as Trump was. But, you know, I feel like we're going to get to that sort of more in-depth foreign policy stuff as we get to the second and third debates. Traditionally, one debate focuses on the domestic issues, one debate focuses on foreign issues, and then there's a third sort of town hall debate. The town hall debate comes next, and then we've got the issue, ostensibly the foreign policy focused issue, if all three debates end up happening.
We have, as you mentioned, these events do stretch into the following day. So then with regard to a moment, two moments really, late in the debate last night where Hillary Clinton took shots at Donald Trump's various comments about women. Donald Trump appearing on a program this morning did in fact speak to a moment that Hillary Clinton invoked regarding a former Miss Universe contestant. And Donald Trump, in explaining why it was that there were problems with this contestant in particular, spoke to the contestant's massive weight gain. How does that play considering what we saw last night?
I think that what we need to do is take a look at what the two candidates were trying to do, sort of their overarching strategy last night. It was clear that Hillary Clinton was trying to, one, convince Americans that Donald Trump is not fit to be president, two, convince Americans that she is fit to be president and that she's broadly acceptable. Donald Trump, it seemed to me, was talking to his base. He was talking to the people who got him through the Republican primary electorate, and that has worked for him so far. It's not necessarily going to work for him in a general election. And when you say he went on a program this morning, he went on Fox News. He's talking to his own base. He's not trying to expand his appeal to centrists, to moderates, to independent voters. There's no clear strategy to me, at least that I can see, of him trying to reach out beyond what has been his core base. Now, that's worked for him in the past, but a primary electorate is entirely different from a general electorate. And when you're talking about a Miss America contestant who put on weight, and by the way, the Clinton campaign is thrilled to have this conversation. They're already out with a new ad about this. There's a new story in the New York Times that just popped about an hour ago. This is clearly something that they had lying in wait. Donald Trump has walked right into another trap.
And so it's really then perhaps how does Donald Trump and the campaign view the two debates still to come? Hillary Clinton was asked if she thinks Donald Trump would show up. She demurred, saying she knows she'll be there in St. Louis and later in Las Vegas. We heard Rudy Giuliani, a staunch surrogate for Donald Trump, saying that last night, if it were him, he wouldn't appear at a second debate. What do you think? Will we see this twice more?
This has been a remarkable conversation that's been buzzing just below the surface. A few people have sort of raised the prospect of maybe Donald Trump will skip a debate later if he doesn't feel like he is being treated fairly. The treated fairly thing is something that he brings up a lot. I was stunned that Rudy Giuliani actually put that into the sort of media narrative of today. There's a real prospect after Trump's performance last night. can he handle another 90 minutes on stage with Hillary Clinton? Can he handle another 180 minutes over 2 debates on stage with Hillary Clinton? Whether or not he can, we'll see, but it would be a remarkable turn of events if he pulled out of a debate, essentially an admission that he was defeated on stage by Hillary Clinton.
And I suppose that would also go into that decision whether or not to appear in St. Louis very, very soon. Reid Wilson there in Washington of the Hill, we very much appreciate the insights today.
Thanks, Josh.